Hello, white people. It's all over the news. Apparently, a 10-year-old girl who got pregnant via rape was denied an abortion in the state of Ohio. And she had to travel to ultra-conservative Indiana to get her abortion. Okay, really? Let's look at some facts here. They're saying that she was 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Oh, really? Oh, okay, well, let's see. Facts. Do 10-year-olds have periods? Sometimes. Can 10-year-olds get pregnant? Very rarely. Do 10-year-olds ovulate before or after they have a period? From what I could find, they ovulate before they have a period. So the way they measure the date of how old the baby is, or the date you're going to deliver, is by asking what was the first day of your last menstrual period. If a 10-year-old has not had her period yet, but has ovulated and gets pregnant, there's no way to answer that question. So then they do an ultrasound and they measure. Okay, so and if it's a young girl and there's some nutrition issues there, then the fetus is going to be underdeveloped and smaller, most likely. It's not going to be larger, but my point is it's not an exact science. There's no way that they can determine that a fetus is 6 weeks and 3 days based on those situations that I gave you, those facts that I gave you. So how common is it, though, for a 10-year-old to have babies? It's very uncommon. So I found 2 news stories. One, this 10-year-old in Colombia, who happened to be part of an Indian tribe, she made it on Good Morning America because she had a baby. And she was so lucky to be near a hospital or whatever, because when she went into labor, they had to do a C-section. See, young girls don't have their body's not prepared to have babies. And they have to be delivered via C-section. So this basically makes, if a 10-year-old gets pregnant, this is a medical emergency. Ectopic pregnancies are medical emergencies. So to be honest with you, I looked up the Ohio law that was passed. I could not find it anywhere. Maybe there's something wrong with me putting in the wrong keywords. But from what I understand, in the state of Ohio, you can get an abortion up to 6 weeks. All right, so the second girl that was 10 who had a baby was in Norway. They didn't say the race of this girl or the name or anything. And this was in 2012. And the doctors that were interviewed for this story said that a girl's body is not ready to have babies until she is in her late teens. My grandmother had my dad when she was 15. She got married and she had my dad. She wasn't having him out of wedlock, because back then, let's see, my grandmother would probably be around 100 years old. But anyway, it's not common for 10-year-olds to get pregnant and to have babies. But these OBGYN doctors, were talking about when they would go to Africa to donate their time, and they said young girls, meaning 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, would come to them and they'd be in labor, and oftentimes they'd be in labor for days. So I don't know if they didn't have the facilities or the equipment to address this, but they said that young girls would be in labor for days and would die. Okay, I was in labor for 27 hours with my son. I thought I was going to die. That is some painful stuff. That hurts a lot. It's probably the most painful experience of my life. I can't imagine being in labor for days. 27 hours was more than I could handle. And they gave me drugs near the end, and it was still hell. But, and if these little girls have babies, most of the time the baby didn't survive. And if the baby did survive, or even if the baby didn't survive, if the baby was delivered and the mom didn't die, she ended up having what's called fistulas. She'd have holes in her personal areas that would anyway, so everything should go to the bathroom and come out the wrong holes. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's just horrific. 10-year-olds getting pregnant is a medical emergency. Does the state of Ohio address rape and incest? I have no idea. I couldn't find the law. So I think that's about it. So I think this is a fake news story. Going over to conservative Indiana to get an abortion. And it's not like they had to drive for days and days to get to Indiana. Indiana is just like the next state over. And these states aren't big. I can drive from Vancouver, Washington to Northern California in 8 hours. It's not like this massive drive. And nobody gets prosecuted for murder if they travel to another state to get an abortion. Just because Roe versus Wade is not being legislated from the judicial branch anymore, it's being legislated by legislators, it doesn't mean that people are gone full stupid. All right, white people, that's the damage for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your thoughts below.